Hi guys, it's Hannah. Welcome back to my book channel. If you're new here, hello. I upload content 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday and Friday. I would love to have you on this corner of the bookstagram / booktube part of the internet. For today's video is going to be my April to be read pile. Now I think I'm being slightly ambitious considering in March I read quite a lot of books, and I don't think I'm going to be able to read a book every 2 or 3 days, which is the kind of speed of my reading in March. However, I am due to go back to work on the 12th of April, I believe. I could be going back earlier, I don't know yet, but as I know now, everything's opening back on the 12th of April, so essentially that's my kind of bunch of books here that I am going to aim to read in April. Maybe I won't do it, or maybe I will surprise myself, I don't know. Possibly maybe I'll have more time to read in the evenings, or just make sure I wake up at like 6 AM and have an hour before I get ready and read and all that, and I want to stay consistent with that kind of reading. To read, it should really be a hobby. And these are the books I've chosen to read or attempt to read in April, so because I don't think I'm going to be able to read a book every 3 days. So I've been furloughed isn't gonna be realistic going forward. So I'm hopeful I can get through at least some of these books. Rabbit is this book by T.M. Logan. It's called The Catch. I think this was in my book haul from Amazon, or it was in a book haul at some point. And I did not enjoy The Holiday, so fingers crossed I enjoy this one a lot more. The Holiday I just couldn't get into at all, but this cover intrigued me. Blue is my favourite colour, so I wanted to read this one. Again, it's a thriller, and there's a mix of thriller and other books in my April TBR, so hopefully I can do a variety of them. I might end up reading all of these in April, or I might end up reading one, I really don't know. But The Catch, and the tagline says, "She says he's perfect, I know he's lying." And this essentially is a story. The blurb says, "He caught me watching and our eyes met. That was when it hit me. There was something not quite right about my daughter's new boyfriend." The doting father. Ed finally meets his daughter's boyfriend for the first time. Smart, successful, handsome, Ryan appears to be a real catch, but then Abby announces their plan to get married. The perfect fiancé. There's just one problem. Ed thinks Ryan is lying to them. Who would you believe? Ed's instincts tell him his daughter is in terrible danger, but no one else can see it. With the wedding date approaching fast, he sets out to uncover Ryan's secrets before it's too late. Yeah, so I've had really good things about this book, and also seen kind of mixed reviews, so kind of the similar situation that I had with The Holiday. So like again, I'm quite new to this author, so maybe I'll like this more. And this book is 430 pages, so that's the first book on my April TBR. April TBR is a Colleen Hoover one. I just had to order more of her books. The minute I finished reading Verity by Colleen Hoover, I was like, I need to know what her romances are like. I just need to get on the hype. And she was an author that I hadn't heard of before I got into Bookstagram and Booktube, so that's exciting. Anyway, 2 Colleen Hoover books in my April TBR. The first one is Regretting You by Colleen Hoover, obviously. I love the cover of this book. I just saw the cover and thought, I need to read this book, read the blurb, because that's the thing I'm doing, just in case you are intrigued, I guess. Anyway, the blurb says, "How do you pick up the pieces without the glue holding everything together? Morgan Grant and her 16-year-old daughter Clara would like nothing more than to be nothing alike. Morgan is determined to prevent her daughter from making the same mistakes she did. By getting pregnant and married way too young, Morgan puts her own dreams on hold. Clara doesn't want to follow in her mother's footsteps. Her predictable mother doesn't have a spontaneous bone in her body. With warring personalities and conflicting goals, Morgan and Clara find it increasingly difficult to coexist. This person who can bring peace to the household is Chris, Morgan's husband, Clara's and the family anchor. but the peace is shattered when Chris is involved in a tragic, questionable accident. The heartbreaking and long-lasting consequences will reach far beyond just Morgan and Clara. While struggling to rebuild everything that crashed around them, Morgan finds the comfort in the last person she expects to, and Clara turns to the one boy she's been forbidden to see. With each passing day, new secrets, resentments, and misunderstandings make mother and daughter fall further apart, so far apart it might be impossible for them to ever fall back together. Oh, okay, this isn't even a romance, it's about a mother-daughter relationship. Then they don't get on, so this is, it sounds interesting. But that's my second one on my April TBR. I'm really cold today, and I don't know if I've zoomed you in a bit too far, but anyway, I can't be bothered to get up and change the camera setting again, so we'll have to do with this zoomed in rest of my TBR. I don't know, sorry, maybe I can zoom you out in editing, I don't know. Anyway, the third book on my April TBR is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Joelle. Again, this was in a recent book haul, and I'm obviously easily influenced by Bookstagram. I try not to be, because I think a lot of the time on Bookstagram we fall into consumerism and just wanting to buy and own like a billion books, and just consume them to have them to own a copy. But anyway, this one is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Joelle. You know, it's kind of one that everyone talks about, and I don't really know what this is about either. A thriller, obviously. It says, she was 15, her mother's golden girl. She had a whole life ahead of her, and then in the blink of an eye, Ellie was gone. 10 years on, Laurel has never given up hope of finding Ellie, and she meets a charming and charismatic stranger who sweeps her off her feet. But what really takes her breath away is when she meets his 9-year-old daughter, because his daughter is the image of Ellie. Now all those unanswered questions that have haunted Laurel come flooding back. What really happened to Ellie, and who still has secrets to hide? This sounds interesting. I don't know, I've obviously not read it yet, but I think the speed I read, I think Lisa Joelle is one of those authors that I can just easily speed read, so I think once I start this book I will just be reading it like every lunch break, every break that I get. But yeah, that's my third book on my April TBR. The fourth book on my April TBR is a little romance, a romance one. I love the cover of this book, and I see this book everywhere, and honestly this also was in my recent Amazon book haul, but I was looking at my bookshelf the other day and I was thinking I actually don't have that many books that I haven't read that are on my shelf, and I don't want to just buy a load of books because I'm saving money, but also at the same time I wanted to have enough books to have a choice to read in April, because I know I can probably read 3 books in April. I don't know about 10 books. I don't think I've ever read 10 books in a month. Anyway, this one is Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren. I love the cover of this book. It just makes me feel all jolly inside. Just friends, just friends. If they say it enough, it'll be true. Hazel Bradford knows she's a lot to take, and frankly most men aren't up to the challenge. In her army of pets and taste for the absurd, don't send them running. Her lack of filter and tendency to say exactly the wrong thing will. They're lost, not everyone can handle a Hazel. Josh has known Hazel since college, from the first night they met when she graciously threw up on his shoes. Josh had always thought of Hazel more of a spectacle than a peer, but now 10 years later, after a cheating girlfriend has turned his life upside down, going out with Hazel is a breath of fresh air. Not that Josh and Hazel date, at least not each other, because setting each other up on progressively terrible dates means there's nothing between them, right? So this sounds extremely fun. This is quite a short book as well. It's only 300 pages. No, it's not even 300 pages. It's 297 pages. I don't know, maybe we should continue the story to be 300 pages. But again, so it's quite a short read, and I think I'll be able to read this quite quickly, and it's a fun concept. and it just sounded light-hearted and fun, and you need a break between reading genres of thrillers and stuff. So the next book is another Colleen Hoover one, and this is It Ends With Us. I love the cover of this book. It's stunning. I love it. Normally I'm not really a fan of pink, but I love this cover. I love flowers, I love florals. Sometimes it's like all I wear in like summer is florals. I need to buy some more clothes because all my summer clothes from last year don't fit me, so that's a fun time. Anyway, this is called It Ends With Us. Again, I bought it because of the cover, and I bought it because it's a Colleen Hoover and it was suggested to me, and I know absolutely nothing about it, and if you don't either, I will read the blurb to you. It says, "Sometimes the one who loves you is the one who hurts you the most. Lily hasn't always had it easy, but that's never stopped her from working hard for the life she wants. She's come a long way from the small town in Maine where she grew up. She graduated from college, moved to Boston and started her own business. So when she feels the spark with a gorgeous neurosurgeon named Ryle, everything in Lily's life suddenly seems almost too good to be true. Ryle is assertive, stubborn and maybe a little arrogant. He's also sensitive, brilliant and has a total soft spot for Lily. But Ryle's complete aversion to relationships is disturbing. As questions about their new relationship overwhelm her, so do thoughts of Atlas Corrigan, her first love and the link to the past she left behind. He was a kindred spirit, her protector. When Atlas suddenly reappears, everything Lily has built with Ryle is threatened. With this bold and deeply personal novel, Colleen Hoover delivers a heart-wrenching story that breaks exciting new ground for her as a writer. It ends with us. It's an unforgettable tale of love that comes with the ultimate price. So I've seen a lot of people say that this book makes them cry. So I'm kind of nervous. I will feel bad if it doesn't make me cry, but I kind of, when you're like, I kind of feel like if I don't cry, I'll feel bad if I don't cry because everyone else seems to cry at this book. I don't know, it sounded interesting, and again, I bought it because of the cover, and I wanted to read more of Colleen Hoover's other styles of writing. New favourite author. Let me know if you have read this by Colleen Hoover or you have yet to read anything by her. And last but not least, the last book on my April TBR is this one, and this is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. Now this is my last one on my TBR because I'm not in any great hurry to read this. I've seen quite a lot of people say you have to be in the right frame of mind to read this, because there are some heavy topics in this book dealing with sexual assault and disturbing teacher-student relationships that essentially went on while she was a child. A lot of people have read this quite quickly, but also the topic in this book, like there are trigger warnings, and I think when you Google a book, sometimes books don't come with them, and I think it is so helpful for books to have that in the beginning, because some people don't even bother to read like acknowledgements, and a lot of authors put their trigger warnings in their acknowledgements. I read a book last year and it had like really disturbing graphic descriptions of like self-harm, and I was disturbed, and I was like, no one in their reviews has mentioned this, and if through self-harm or triggering situations when you were younger, it might be too much for you to read, which is why I appreciate when people review books, they put trigger warnings just in case you're not comfortable with reading about sexual assault or disturbing age gap relationships. So this follows the story of Vanessa was 15 years old when she first had sex with her English teacher. Now that the teacher Jacob Strain has been accused of sexual abuse by another former student, a journalist has asked Vanessa to contribute a story about him, but no one seems to understand that what Vanessa and Strange had together wasn't abuse, it was love, wasn't it? So essentially Vanessa sees what they had together as love, but she obviously was 15 and a naive student, and he took advantage of that, and she's only realising that now because someone else has come forward and accused him of sexual abuse. So this is a very heavy topic book. I'm not in any hurry to read it, but it is in my April TBR. So yeah, those are all the books that I have on my April TBR. Like I said, I probably won't read all of them in April, but hopefully I read more than one, and that's more than one book. But yeah, this is my April TBR. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I shall see you guys in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye!